Hey everybody, we are back today with Brandy of Brandy Borough Astrology. Thank you so much for coming back and joining me on the channel.
Thanks for having me. It's always great to be back on your channel, Ellie.
It's always good to it's always great. That sounds sick because what we talk about is like disappearances, missing people, but it is always great to be able to discuss this with you and astrology and all that stuff.
Exactly.
So wanted to clarify that for anybody that's like, God, that sounds sick. Today we are going to be looking at the case of the disappearance of Joel Moore. I had heard of this case before, but there wasn't a whole lot out there about it. There still isn't a whole lot out there about it. He went missing on March 27th of 2010, so he's been missing 14 years at this point, which is a long time. He went missing near Galatia, Illinois. The last time he was heard from was at around 6:30 p.m. A text message to, I believe, his brother, where he said that he wouldn't be home that night. But I think they had plans, and I could be wrong about this, but from what I've read, the little bit that I have read, they were supposed to meet up, I think, on the 28th, and he never showed up to meet his brother. In the last text message, he mentioned that he was going to visit some old friends. And I have it in my notes. Last text mentioned he was going to visit some parentheses old and then friends, because I've seen it said that these were old friends of his that he was going to visit. Sometimes it just says friends. Brother or whoever he was texting did not seem to know who it was he was going to see. And he didn't say. Now it's unverified, but it is mentioned that he was seen by someone driving east through Harrisburg, Illinois, which is about 15 minutes on a map from Galatia, on Route 13. But this hasn't been verified, but they clocked him around the same time the text message came through at 6:30. This case is weird. I mean, this guy like disappeared without a trace. He and his vehicle. He was driving a white Cadillac DeVille. Nobody has found the car. Nobody has found him. It's like literally just vanishing into thin air is what it's like. So when somebody reached out to me through email, was like, "Can you look at this?" I'm thinking, yeah. Let's look at it. Let's take a look.
Let's look at it. And how old is he? Or I know it doesn't matter. I'm just curious.
I believe he was 28 when he went missing.
Okay.
So I think I originally had told you 27, Brady. I think it's actually 28. He was about to turn 29. His birthday was like April 28th.
Okay.
So he was about to turn 29, probably in a Saturn return. Thinking about that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Does make me curious about what his chart looks like.
Yeah.
But so that would put him at, what would he be, 43? 43 today? If he were,
yeah.
If he were still alive, and I say if, because, well, should we just look at the chart?
Let's look at it. Let's see what kind of information we can get.
Okay. Okay, this is the mapping that we will get to in a little bit. Because the most important thing in a case like, well, not only what happened, but I mean, where the hell can he be found, right? That seems, yeah. So it's also, this case is also one where we can bring the mapping up.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the chart for March 27th, 2010 at 6:30 p.m. and in Galatia, Illinois. Even if he was actually going through Harrisburg at the time, I mean, they're 15 minutes away. The chart, yeah.
It should still give us good information. Well, yeah, so he's going to be that Mercury in Aries in the 7th house. That's interesting. He could possibly be on someone's turf or in someone's home.
Yes.
Yeah. Now the co-ruler, the moon in Virgo in the 12th house, a little concerning. Not the best placement for a co-ruler.
Yeah, that that combined with Pluto in the fourth.
Yeah.
I didn't particularly like seeing either of those.
Yeah, that's a tough one. That, the fourth house where we find endings or, outcomes, end of the matter, having a planet like Pluto there, something that's very intense can be violent.
Yeah. Yeah. Took a bunch of notes. So I'm looking down at that.
Yeah.
Okay. 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 I'm gonna try to do this sensitively. And I also want to say that anything that I say here, I'm not blaming or shaming or any shit like that. This is kind of what I'm seeing here.
Yeah. Based on the astrology.
Yeah, based on the astrology, this is kind of what I'm seeing here. When I pulled this chart originally, not only did, that moon in the 12th and that Pluto in the 4th stand out, to me, this screams something with drugs.
Well, that Neptune in the 5th would definitely support that.
Yeah. Yeah. Neptune in the 5th, even the Pisces descendant. I look at this and I wonder if it's possible that maybe he really was going to meet friends, right? But maybe he needed to pick something up first or drop something off. I bring up the employment thing here. Because we do have the traditional ruler of Pisces in the 6th house, Jupiter in the 6th, also in Pisces. Some work being involved, perhaps not necessarily work as we think, as we would normally think of it, but if somebody is, say, on the clock dealing or picking up from a dealer or whatever, there's something
and it's again, your day-to-day work. It's
yeah.
And something about service, providing service, or
yeah. There is something about that here. And again, I want to, no judgment for me, for what, no judgment, no shame, no, nothing, just.
Yeah. And, if someone's responsible for his disappearance, we're really looking at Jupiter and Neptune for the ruler of whoever's involved here. And I know we were kind of discussing it before we got on the call, that Neptune, you pointed out, is, it's an applying sextile with Mercury, or Mercury's applying to Neptune, I should say.
But then you pointed out something else.
Yeah, so we have the prohibition going on here because before Mercury's going to make that 27-degree sextile with Neptune, because Neptune's a very slow-moving planet, Mercury's fast, it's going to run into Venus first.
Yeah.
And so that is a very good testimony that, okay, he's on his way to meet whoever Neptune is, but bam, runs into whoever Venus is. And Venus in Aries is a detriment. So whoever this Venus is, not good.
And in the 8th house.
And in the 8th house, where you find death or trauma or crisis. Yeah.
Things that are secret, things that are hidden. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that kind of, it does. Yeah, it really does make me wonder if he really was gonna go meet friends or something and had to do something else first. And something happened, whether that was, him meeting somebody and getting something from them or him dropping something off.
Or, the whole idea of prohibition is something that interferes or can throw things off. So, we can go with, okay, Mercury runs into Venus. Like he runs into someone. Would that person be responsible? Or did that person kind of put a dent in the plans or bring someone else in? There's something about an interference, though, with the path he's on to do whatever he's doing.
Yeah. Interference.
That sun in the 7th house just is, okay, we have the sun in Aries. It's exalted.
Mm-hmm.
And it's in that 7th house as well. Why do I think this is out in the open or there's witnesses? Like there's something about a visibility factor here.
Yes, there is. I think that too. I also look, I'll just sorry, I got like a piece of my hair shedded off on my mouth. I'm sorry. Stupid. What a stupid time to do that. Yes, out in the open, very visible. And even death occurring somewhere more visible.
Mm-hmm.
With that, Aries 8th house and Mars in the very visible 10th. And I don't think he's alive anymore.
Yeah, there's a couple things astrologically that just kind of point in the direction that he could likely not be. The moon in the 12th house, the Saturn right there on the ascendant, and a strong Saturn, 0 degrees, Pluto in the 4th. They're not great testimonies for someone who might still be alive. Not impossible. I'm just saying, like, traditionally this kind of painting a certain picture.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
But I'll say this, with the sun being in the 7th, it's still above that descendant line.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good indication that he can be found, or there's some kind of closure that can come from this. That the moon, the other luminaries in the 12th, it's still a little hidden, but he could be found.
Yeah, I think, yeah. Oh, I think he definitely can be. Yes. I think so. I agree with that for sure. The ruler of, you bring up the sun, since this is the ruler of the 11th house, I wonder if this sun could have been a friend of whoever he was meeting.
Could be. Or I know there was like discussions of him being associated with certain groups. Is that right?
Yeah, in the email about the rainbow people. I kind of when I saw that, I was like, who the hell are the rainbow people? I was like, who the hell are these people? So I had to kind of look up who the hell it was we're talking about. Yes, but from what I understand, I don't think he was actually associated with them. This was just a group of people that people have said that he may have run off with. But the thing about him running away, after he went missing, his cards were never used again. Like everything stopped.
So it wasn't like a robbery where someone gets a hold of the cards, attempts to use it. He's not using it.
Yeah, like everything just stops. So I'm thinking if he ran off, right? And he was 28 at the time. If he had wanted to run off, he could have. But usually when somebody runs off, there's oftentimes a sign. Something is seen down the line that this just stops. It stops everything.
And the car is never found.
Car has never been found.
That's weird, you know? Like if we want to look at this chart and say, okay, what's going to rule the car here? Like horary rules, it would be a second house thing because it's a possession. I personally like to look at the third house for like vehicles, something that gets you around. So I'm really kind of pulled towards Mars here, and it's in a fire sign.
Yeah.
Car is probably around, but probably not recognizable or.
Yeah. I was thinking that too. They may have, it may have been burned. It could have even been taken to like a scrapyard or a junkyard, especially with that Scorpio on the third house.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is an important thing, because this is an important thing to mention, the car, because they've been looking, from what I understand, they've been looking a lot in water. Like dragging lakes and stuff. And there's absolutely keep doing it, right? But to me, this doesn't scream water.
No, I'm not. There's not a whole lot of water going on here except for seventh house, Pisces and Uranus. I don't get the water vibe on this one.
No, I don't. I don't either. I mean, obviously they should still look wherever they feel called to look, or wherever they can, but I think you're right about the car. I think they're probably dragging lakes and stuff, or searching lakes, hoping to find the vehicle, or find him too, but they're probably thinking the vehicle was, submerged. I'm with you. I think it's probably somewhere, but not recognizable.
Yeah. I gotta tell you, when kind of an interesting thing about these cases, like when they're dragging lakes or they're looking and searching, they tend to find things for other cases or crimes. So like, I'm sure there's
It's
some
been,
kind of silver lining to that,
oh yeah, it's beneficial to check, because something else could be found, or yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think about that Saturn?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, what do you think about that Saturn?
Yeah, that's why I was just kind of going with that. Like if unfortunately, if he's not alive anymore, but still keep that hope out. If you're looking for a body, we're looking at Saturn here in Libra, which is like an air sign. Makes me think again, kind of out in the open, or not water. Definitely, I'm not feeling he's submerged in water or anything.
Yeah, the out in the open, that Virgo ascendant, and then you move right onto this Saturn at 0 degrees Libra. It does make me think Earth, in the Earth, on the Earth, a little higher up maybe than other places relative to the area. I don't know what the area is like. But
Yeah,
something like that.
out in the elements. If we're looking at that placement and we're kind of looking at, something outside of the actual physical body here, it's such an interesting place for Saturn to be on this chart. It rules that fifth house. And it's right on the ascendant here. That Saturn in Libra almost makes me feel like taking justice into your own hands, or taking law into your own hand. It just feels weird. Like, whoever he's meeting up, I hate to even like speculate this, but did he have an enemy? Was there someone did he owe someone something?
This is, it's a very good thing to bring up, not only for that, but because we also have Virgo on the cusp of that 12th house with that Mercury in the 7th. It's like a hidden enemy becoming an open one. Yeah. So I think it's possible that he had some kind of enemy he didn't know about or didn't realize.
Yeah.
I think that's, and then everything you said with Saturn. there. Yeah, it does feel like that.
We want to look at fixed stars.
Yeah. Let's see.
I know you're taking Mercury, aren't you?
What?
Are you going to take Mercury?
I can. Let me see. Let me grab the book.
Oh, sorry. I thought you had. I'm sorry. I
No,
can do it.
I have all my big ass giant thing with all my notes. Okay, yeah, I did. There are some near there's one near the moon, Neptune, Jupiter, ascendant. Yeah. Oh, I wrote that. I just took notes on that too, apparently. Okay.
Look at you. Yeah.
Which one did you want to do?
I was gonna do Venus, but
Do Venus.
I mean,
Do it.
there's one at 23 degrees. I kind of was hoping it was a little tighter, but that's all right. 23 degrees and 16 minutes. So it's really about 2 degrees off. I don't know. Yeah, success in public office. I really don't think that applies.
What about what if how do I want to word this? I'm not trying to censor myself. I'm trying to figure out how I want to say what I want to say. Go ahead.
Are you going after the moon?
You go after the go ahead.
Okay. So the moon, 7 degrees Virgo. There is a fixed star right on 7 degrees Virgo. So first of all, it says prospectors of gold and silver, or those who are ministers of money. So we could have a money thing going on here.
Mhm.
And then burning to death in own house.
Yeah. Yes. Which in the context of this, I wonder if it could be the car.
That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah. There's also one near Neptune. It's at 27. Where yes. Yeah. Okay, so there's one at 27 degrees 45 minutes Aquarius, which is like really close to that Neptune. Soar to great heights, potential of sudden downfall. So there's a lot of like success kind of things when looking at like this. There's a success, or like soaring to great heights. There's like a success thing here. Venus perhaps being an interference of sorts. There was also that success thing, correct?
Correct. And I believe there's one on Jupiter too. So we have a fixed star at 15 degrees Pisces and Jupiter 16 degrees. Sudden success in public office. Very similar to what was going on with Venus.
The public office thing is
Yeah.
interesting. Especially with, this Jupiter, or not Jupiter, Gemini midheaven, Gemini midheaven with Mercury so close to this Venus, having the 10th house come to the 7th, also representing him too, but I'm not really sure how to formulate what I'm thinking into a straight thought. But there is something there with that. It's almost like I wonder if, how do I want to word this? Like somebody was able to succeed by him no longer being around.
Yeah.
In some way. Somebody benefited.
Yeah. He was on someone's turf, possibly. I don't mean physically, I just mean.
Yes. No, I know. Yeah.
Probably physically as well, because Mercury's in 7th house, but like, yeah, it's, yeah, there's some kind of benefit for somebody for
Or
him
or
being missing.
even multiple. I'm wondering.
Mhm.
The Gemini, the dual body, even the Pisces, dual bodied. These two up each other's ass. I don't know. There's, like I don't know,
Yeah.
twosies, um, things like that. Um, is there anything else that you'd want to say about this?
No, I'm really curious about the mapping.
Okay, let me get off of this. Okay. So all scribble maps. Okay.
Yay! Look at what you made with it. Like, that's amazing.
Okay. So I do not know what the address of the house that he lived in. I don't know what that was, right? I just set the marker for Galatia.
Hmm.
It's a small town. That's what I set it for. Okay, so to explain these circles, this circle where my mouse is right now, or cursor, not a mouse. Give me my
I call it a
cursor.
mouse. Like, I was totally following you.
Good. I'm glad. This thing that's a hand that's going like this. This thing.
Yes.
This circle is I did the radius from the ascendant. So this smaller one is 29 degrees. 29, I use the 29-degree ascendant. This bigger circle, I did 179 degrees, because turning 29 degrees Virgo to the 360-degree zodiac would be 179. So yeah. But I was still, I don't think he's far though. So I think probably I've just been doing that.
I don't think he's far either. You know, whoever's responsible is in the sign of Pisces and has that strong Jupiter, so they're probably far away.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he's probably not far. Yeah.
Yeah, I think yeah. So I think I think this is really probably a good place to look, this area right here. Okay, now just to explain which ones I wanted to look at. Okay, and because I'm using the free version of Scribble Maps, I couldn't color each line, so bear with me for a second because I did this earlier. Okay, this is the Mercury to Venus, 20 degrees Aries to 25 degrees Aries.
That's a hot spot, I
Yeah.
think.
This in here.
Mm-hmm. Now, is this what do you call it? Like the map? Like, if there was water, would there be blue spots?
I think so.
Okay, because I mean, it looks like it's just dry land.
I think there are some rivers and lakes and shit.
Oh, okay.
But
okay. I mean, we were saying we didn't see waters. I was just kind of trying to see, okay, does the mapping even rule that out? You know.
But no, it does look like primarily land. More
Oh, I see now. I see a lake. Okay, I got you. But yeah, does the radius, right? Looks landy. Okay.
Yeah. This little wedge right here was Uranus to the descendant. So from like 27 degrees, 29 degrees Pisces. This tiny wedge was the ascendant Saturn wedge, 29 Virgo to 0 Libra.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the IC line, 29 Sagittarius.
I really think the wedges of, Mercury and Venus is of great interest, because we see he's running into someone or someone's interfering. To me, that just would be like, bam, where I'd want to look. Also, the Saturn ascendant wedge is very interesting.
I also want to point out the place where he was seen, and I forgot to mention this. Okay, see this highway right? Can y'all see that? Everybody see that?
Yeah. Highway
Everybody see that?
13.
This is where he was supposedly seen driving, but it couldn't be verified. Pretty close to that Saturn ascendant wedge, or that Saturn ascendant wedge.
It runs through it,
Yeah,
right?
runs
Or
through.
wait, what part was he seen on? Like,
Uh,
do we know what stretch?
no, it's at east of Harrisburg.
Okay. So probably right. Interesting. Okay.
Or no, sorry, that would actually be west of Harrisburg, this way. Did it say east?
Oh,
Oh,
it
no.
is. I got
Oh, no.
my astrology directions going here.
No, I'm sorry. It said it didn't say east of. It said like east route 13. So I'm assuming he was going east.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I had that wrong. Yeah, so he was going east on 13. That's where
Got it. Okay.
So yeah, that could still make sense there. Where do you think, are there any places that you think, here, let me zoom out a little bit. Are there any places that you think they should look? Because there are a couple that I feel like, I don't know, since I'm not familiar with the area, like I don't know if this will fit, but there are some ideas that I have about things he could be near.
Like landscape type place. I mean, my sense is I mean, the first thing I want to go with is who, how do I, maybe not who he knows. I feel like he's on private property.
You think he's on private property?
Yeah. And so it's kind of hard to know, like, whoever he ran into or whoever's responsible. And I think from the astrology, it looks like someone's responsible,
Yeah, I think
you
so.
know. Do they have land over here, or who do they know
Yeah,
that has some sort of that? I don't know. That's what I'm getting, but
I have to, no, I agree. I think private property is probably very, very likely. I do wonder if this private property could be near a military base, near a slaughterhouse. And I say that because that,
the Virgo.
well, the slaughterhouse thing, the Virgo and the Mercury and Aries.
Mm-hmm.
Virgo, small, animals. Aries being, Aries can be a lot of
Yeah.
things, but it can also be, there is something slaughterhousey about it. I don't know if there are really slaughterhouses around here.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that that's where they're, like you said, I agree with you. I think he's on not public property, private property. But I do wonder if like there's a slaughterhouse nearby.
Yeah. Like an identifier. Like, yeah.
Or get a military base.
Because of the Aries.
The Aries, but also the Virgo. Virgo's very routine, right?
Yeah.
Um,
And we kind of saw a couple things within the chart about groups,
yes.
people. Yeah. He meant, yeah. And even like that Saturn being right on the ascendant, Saturn can sometimes get, authority. And I could see a few things that would point towards military area.
Yeah, military bases or just something having to do with the military. Again, though, I think these lines should be looked at first, but if there happens to be a base or something in those wedges or a slaughterhouse or something, these might, it might be places to. Can you think of anything else that might be like because I agree, I do think he's on private property, but like any sort of
Markers.
yeah.
I think I have to agree with what you were getting. I think maybe anything military related, even the slaughterhouse or animals, or even near, I mean, it's so vague, but like farmland, right? Because like
Yeah.
sometimes some of these people, if it's own farm. Like sometimes they slaughter their own.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Which I'm sure you find a lot of that in rural Illinois, you know, but especially along these wedges though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there any other lines that you'd want to bring in though?
You know, since he did not really, I mean, not that you already have it marked. I was gonna say, you know, whenever someone goes missing and they're on their way and then they're never seen again, the ascendant's always really good line to follow.
Mm-hmm. That would be this little area right there.
You know, I'll say because Uranus was kind of is there a line where Uranus was?
Yes. Oh wait, hold on.
Or we could even just kind of estimate it.
Uranus and the descendant wedges here.
It's that one. Gotcha. That's right. Yeah, I mean, usually when you're mapping, you find like one wedge. The fact that there's like 3 wedges here, you know, it might be Carr is found in one.
Yes.
He's found in another, you know, something like that.
Or yes. Well, never mind. I'm not even gonna say what I was gonna say. I'm not gonna say.
I know I got you. Yeah.
You already know what I was gonna. I don't need to say it. Yes.
Yeah.
Find it. Yes. Different things being
I
found.
think it's worth looking in all 3 of those locations for something. I mean, it's been, you know, 14 years, but I think the fact that the sun is at the top of the, not top, but the first half of the chart, top half of the chart. I still think evidence can be found.
Yes, I do too. I wonder though if anybody, because I agree with you. I think he can, or something can be found.
Yeah.
That gives closure. I wonder if the person or people responsible, if anything comes from that.
If there's ever any like justice.
Yeah.
Go back to the chart if you don't mind. Let's.
Not at all. Can you still see it? It's a little smaller.
I can. Yeah, that's perfect.
They're both below. Both those rulers are below it, below the horizon.
They are, and the Jupiter is in, it's very strong, being in its home sign, being in domicile.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say no, but I feel like they're in a better position.
Yeah. And there were so many fixed stars that kind of pointed to success. Yeah, I really wonder if they'll ever. I do think the family, the friends, the loved ones can get closure with him. Like, they might not ever. I hope they see justice for it. I just don't know that.
Yeah, I think they'll definitely at some point get closure. The justice is another question though.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to share about this or say about this or about the mapping?
No, I mean, the only thing I'll say is, I know like astrologically, like when you're looking at forensic astrology or what have you, you know, it's kind of painting a picture, but absolutely still hold hope out for this family and that they'll get their answers. And yeah.
I think, I'd like that would, I feel so horrible for people who are in this position, because I think to myself, if I had a loved one that vanished and I hadn't, it's 14 years later and I have no idea what the fuck happened to them.
It'd make you crazy. Like,
it would be torture, absolute torture to not know.
Yeah.
It's like, it's in that limbo place of just not knowing. And my heart just breaks for his family, for his loved ones, and for anybody that's missing somebody, and anybody in that situation. It's just awful.
Yeah, absolutely.
I will put below in the description box, if anybody happens to have any information about this case, I will put the numbers where the police departments or whatever can be contacted. So they will be there in the description box.
Yes, please. Because, from what we saw, someone knows something. And that's the case with most crimes, right?
Yeah.
Like, someone knows something. Like, my gosh, give an anonymous tip at least. Like, give the family closure.
Yeah, something.
Yep.
Well, where can you be found, Brandy?
Well, I can be found at brandyburrowastrology.com and social media, Brandy Burrow Astrology. And Ellie, I know we're on your channel, right? Like, we find you here, but where else do we find you?
You can find me on my website at saturnseason.com. You can find me on Instagram at Saturn Season Astrology. And then again, here on the channel at Saturn Season Astrology. Oh, and if anybody has any other requests for these, by all means, shoot an email. We'll take a look at it, see what we find. Just as much information as you can in terms of time, date, place. Excessive amounts of information is better than to just.
There's not any such thing as too much information. Like, whatever you got, birth dates, times, you think it's important or not, like it all can usually, sometimes it can lead to really good information.
Yeah, and we can suss out what isn't, like necessary, but yeah, the more the better in this kind of context for sure.
Yep. Well, Ellie, thank you for having me on. It's been an honor to discuss this one with you.
Thank you for coming on. And I guess to everyone else, I will see y'all later.